Hello, 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 and welcome to another One Lion of Code. I am One Lion, and I am, for the most part, ready. Let's get started. Hi, welcome and happy Monday to you. Wrong scene. Let's go to this one. Hello, Deflux. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. I'm going to get the app started, but I do have one more thing that I am doing that I forgot about, which is just updating the thing, the one thing. The video description and thumbnail for the YouTube export for Friday's stream. Update thumbnail, change description, put in the right playlist, and remove gaming from tags. Set language. Clear out all of the leftover tortilla that's stuck in my cheek. No, why did you do that? Oh, well, thank goodness. That was scary. I thought that I lost the progress. But it was just the app running. And change the category to SciTech. Save. Okay, that'll be live soon. And here is Finance Man. Hello, C Films. We are back to the last bit of the UI redesign of the main landing page. So right now we're still in mobile. We are finishing this up. We got the logo to appear more close to what the design looks like, which I don't have that open. Hello, Figma. Hello, rollers. Hope you had a good weekend. I had a great weekend. Thank you so much for asking. I hope you did as well. Or not asking, for hoping that for me. It was a fantastic weekend. I also hope yours went well. And if you feel like it, share what you are doing today, this week, what you did over the weekend, whatever you feel like sharing. And also, if you don't feel like sharing, then feel free to not share. That's weird. Why does the header look like it has a black background? That should not be a black background. We'll figure that out. So, I'm pulling up the design so that we can see that we are pretty close to what it should look like in mobile. For the footer, for this section, yeah, for all the sections. I think we are, for the most part, done. We didn't get this transparency fade up here yet, if we're going to do it at all. I mean, it kind of doesn't make sense to do it unless we're going to fade the entire container, including the border. So we'll find that out. But the one thing that is still pretty weird is this horizontal scroll that we're getting from it's either the padding that is causing the box sizing to be incorrect, or it is the scroll bar, because it almost looks to be the width. It kind of looks like it's the width of the padding times 2. But we know that in Firefox on this size, it is specifically the width of the padding that was causing that. We're going to fix that as soon as I do a quick commit for all of the work that we do have done. I'm keep looking for Git down here. Oh, I did commit on Wednesday when we ended the stream. Good. So if you're interested in what we're doing, the project we're working on is the Financial Management Tracker. It is open source. Feel free to check it out on my GitHub. Contribute to it if you really feel like it. There's absolutely no requirement, no expectation for you to, but there are some issues there that, oh, I already have it open, that are community things that don't need to be addressed. Yeah. But right now we are working on this UI layout redesign. And that is the branch that we're in. So if you want to see what we are doing currently, which branch we are currently in, it's this task 52 revamp layout branch. Always welcome to look at it. So with this, if you don't know what this application is about, I have all the videos posted to YouTube, but they are kind of not easy to parse. 2 hours each, about 300 of them, close to 260. Plus community day videos, and in at least a couple of them I did some work on the app, so those are in the playlist for this project. But essentially, in short, this application is intended to be a way to manually track your financial accounts, so you can see how you are spending money, what you're spending money on, and how you're saving money, etc., etc. We need to make an AI tool that can like watch several hour video and summarize. Yeah, so the thing that I was planning on doing, and I started trying it, and then I just quit because I'm trying to learn too many things at once, and now I'm just like, I have my work product, and then I have one other thing that I'm going to focus on that is not work product. Aside from streaming. So I guess there's work product, there's streaming, and then there is the thing that I choose to do with the time that I am not doing work, doing streaming, or spending time with my wife. And that is right now music. So I'm pointing that way because all my music equipment is over there. But the thing that I did start trying was at some point in time, Twitch started turning on automatic transcript for all of the videos. So the thing that I was doing was having the AI agent read the transcript. So go to the video page, read the transcript, or grab the text for the transcript with the timestamps, and then understand it, summarize sections, summarize the whole thing, and then create a timestamp thing. I got pretty far with it, but it really struggled to go to the video's URL and grab the transcript off of it in a consistent way. And then it just made up the summary. It wasn't even from the transcript. And then the timestamps. You know what I haven't tried though is feeding it to GPT-4o. So if I create a GPT agent and have it do the same work and manually copy and paste the transcript and tell it to create a summary as well as create timestamps, then we'll see. The problem for community days would be separating speakers, which I don't think the transcript does. But most of the streams, well, any stream that is not a community day stream is just me talking, so it should be able to pick that up. So anyway, that's a goal, definitely. So where are we at? We are currently focused on this overflow issue. on this horizontal overflow issue. There is something causing a horizontal scroll bar. If I were to take section, article and section, and tell it not to have any padding. Yeah, so section, no padding. No padding on section. Width is 100 VW. We'll get to that. We're working on padding first, so we're getting rid of all padding. Still looks like there's some padding in the hero section. I am so blind. Where is this padding coming from? Padding 0. I mean, this element specifically, oh no, not this element, header. Just kidding. Header's the thing that has the padding. There was padding, there's padding. So we got rid of that. Still looks like there's overflow. It's even worse now. Getting rid of the padding. What? What? Okay, let's turn this back on and say padding 0. Let's start with that. Articles. Padding 0. There was no padding on article anyway. Sections. Why does that say section.content? Doesn't matter. Sections. Padding 0. And footer. Footer. Padding 0. Okay, so we still have horizontal scroll coming from somewhere when there is no padding. It still does look like it's less than it was. Hello, Crapteen. How have you been? It feels like it's been eons. Even though it hasn't. We'll turn that one back on. Cool, we're good. Header, padding 0. Dang, I want the padding value that I had there before. Whoops. So that I could toggle it on and off. But whatever, it's fine. Everything's fine. So it doesn't look like it is padding that's causing this. But let's check real quick to see if any of these padding values that I just changed does make the problem worse. Skip hero header for now. And let's allow the original padding to come back. Okay. It'd be really, really nice if I could see this horizontal scroll, but I think what we can watch is the main. The width on main is 693.812. And the width on main is 693.812, regardless of whether there is padding on that or not. But the width on section transaction is 1142.550. Why? Why? That doesn't make sense at all. And yours is 444. Like the width of these sections. I'm looking at the wrong number, aren't I? I'm looking at height. Apps. Hello, Dick is off. Pretty sure you should be looking at margin since padding is space inside the element while margin is the space outside. Thank you. I will definitely look at that too, but I try not to use margin very often at all. When I'm using spacing, I tend to put the spacing as padding. Application ecosystem kinda hog, not gonna lie. I don't know what you mean by that, but definitely let me know. I've seen you around, Machiavellian. How are you? I hope you're doing well. I don't really know what you mean by the application ecosystem, but if you're just trying to stir up stuff, don't. Just don't. Eflex says, when I was growing up, my mother said, I use too much margarine. So I agree. Watch out for that margarine. I almost got that joke. I almost understood. Okay, let's turn padding back and check main. Okay, so yes, the horizontal width of the main content is only 360. That's the thing that gets the scroll bar. So now we're looking at page. Width is 360. Header 360. Wait, let me just make sure that overflow. Oh, overflow auto is on article. My bad. Not main page. Main page is overflow auto. You're so confusing. This picture up here. Do you have a min width? Width 100%. Max width 100 VW. I mean, max width 100 VW isn't going to be very helpful. I was just checking. Okay, refresh. Starting over. Now that I've seen that the place that the actual overflow is on article page, but why is overflow auto on the Dukesoft content wrapper main? Is this horizontal overflow on main? It's on main. What? What if I turned your overflow to visible? Oh my gosh, I am just making it worse. I turned your overflow to auto. I turned your overflow to visible, but you are only taking up the container size. Okay, that's better. So get rid of the height. And then overflow horizontal is still crap, and that's probably because all of the widths are set to 100 VW. Okay. Consider this. Shout out to Kenny Dev. Hello, Kenny. If you guys don't know Kenny Dev, he is an amazing game developer, having tons and tons of fun on his stream. I love hanging out there. Good to see you. What have you been working on lately? Do you have anything you feel like sharing? Or are you just saying hi? There's absolutely no obligation to do anything when you show up just to show up and hang out. This needs to move. That wire. During jam stuff. I mean, I can share current progress. Always welcome to. Absolutely. Especially if you're proud of it. I like seeing people that are, or not even just proud of it, excited about it. I love seeing developers who are just excited about what they do, regardless of what it is. Even if I'm not a game developer, I love your passion. We're gonna mess things up. We're gonna mess all the things up. Do you guys like messing things up in order to research an issue? I like researching in a explorational kind of way. So we have quite a few places where sizing and margins and padding are set. Here is main. So let's consider our main wrapper is the thing that wraps the entire content application stuff. The header, the main body, and the footer. And all saying that the main body contains the footer, so just the header and the main. Ooh, and the flyout? And the flyout. No, not the flyout. There's the end. Okay, so flyout is its own thing. Oh, one day I'll get rid of this div ID app. We won't need it again or anymore from .NET 8 on. Ooh, here it is. Here it is. Okay, does this have audio? I need to pick a different browser if it does. Firefox. Do you think going really deep in .NET is a good career choice? .NET is huge here in Scandinavia, especially for enterprise, so I think I might go that route. I really do love .NET in general and using .NET technologies. That's just my preference, so I'm going to be biased when I say yes, I think it is worth going into. How deep you go into, that depends on which industry you're working in. And what the complexities of the software that you'll be making are. Okay, so no audio, but we are going to watch this. Ooh, oh man, that was a smooth transition. Look at that. Oh, that feels good. Ooh, you can even connect with Twitch. Man, I've been lurking on your stream, but I have no idea what your Turn Jam is about. I'm a terrible viewer. by 12 feet up. Man, that is very, very smooth though. These transitions. Some other team stole my favorite audio person, aka Sam. Sam. I would do audio stuff for people, but I'm just learning. I am just learning. Someone did reach out to me and was like, do you want to help me do some essentially Foley audio? I'm like, I don't know how to do anything yet. I am just learning how to make music at the moment. And yeah, I'm only doing it 2 hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So it's going really slow, but really enjoyable. But that's super cool. And the credits are flying in the background, so they're always there. That's really nice. I like that a lot. Pretty sure it's better than going deep into WordPress. True. So anyway, my biased opinion, Sally, is yes, .NET, but definitely tailor it to what industry you're going into. It sounds like where you are, your region, they use .NET a lot. So if you're looking for a career in software development and your area is hard on .NET, is that even a phrase to use? In your area seems to use .NET more than other technologies like JavaScript, then go with .NET. Go with .NET. Go with God. Word choice, man. You can't even take those back either. It sounded right in my head, so I said it out loud. Oh, well, whatever I did to it got rid of the horizontal scroll, but now the footer seems to be. Wait. That is telling me. No, it's really hard to tell. So this section looks like it has the correct padding on both sides, but it could just be because of how the words broke up. But the footer definitely seems to have some overflow that's currently hidden. And this section, the hero section, has some overflow. And it's either going to be the hero or the footer that's causing the page size to bleed over further than it should. What I would expect to see, though, is some X value where the sum of the width of the content plus the padding, even though we have box sizing border box, plus the width of the border is greater than 360, which is the width of our viewport. For the record, one lion goes hard on .NET. True. In all senses of the word. But this is not a stream marked for mature, so please don't take that in a mature context. Be happy nobody clipped that. I bet you somebody did. And even if so, I meant it in the lightest. So if any of you are taking it in the wrong way, let me know and I will clean it up, fix it, whatever. I would never, says Deflux. Okay, so we're looking for anything that has a total width of greater than 360 for border plus padding plus content width. Main, cool. Article, cool. Yeah, and this is the thing that has overflow visible. Which is why it's here. Here it is. Here it is. 360 for the width of the hero section. Box sizing border box helps with that. So that's one place. And now 346 plus 7 is 353, which is less than 360. Good. The image is still bleeding over. You can see that happening. But we can fix that too. The title wrapper is 346. The app preview wrapper is 346 plus 5.6, which is 351.6. I know math. Stop it. But that still allows the image itself. Yeah, why are you offset? Because this also needs 0 padding. Oh, right. The padding is there to simulate a border that is thicker and has a gradient. So then the image is only 346, but it's 346 plus 5.6 plus the padding that is on this. Which is 7. Seafoam says, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, these 3 technologies are the core of web development used to create the structure, style, and functionality of web pages and applications. Very true. Honey says, according to your t-shirt, you never argue, but how do you call your methods then? I would do the cricket noise, but I don't think it gets picked up on the microphone anyway. Well, I never argue, that's how. Does it work as if everything is an extension method? Okay, so what do we do? Main we definitely wanted to keep is that. We saw that the hero section in index. So where is hero? Hero. Hero gets its own thing. Great. Hero. Let's go with this because it would be in the same place this is. Oh, wait, what? That's confusing. Where did I put it? Salad. Main page hero is what it's called. Components. Main page hero. You go up here. No, take the focus. You go down here. Denied. Does a hero have to have superpowers? No. No, they don't. In my opinion, I can't tell you that for sure based on whatever are the actual rules, but in my opinion, heroes do not need superpowers. Heroes are people, or are entities that are looked up to as having some kind of oh man, I can't come up with a good definition right now. I'm not thinking about that. I can see it so clearly in my head, but I can't articulate it. Heroes are not necessarily entities with superpowers, but entities that have performed some deed that is to be revered as being helpful. And here we are. Default padding. So let's say our hero section does get 0. Which should mean that we don't need to specify a rule on it, right? I can't hear you, Big Gamey. I can't hear you. I appreciate it. I could potentially be if you do want to call me that. However, I do not strive to be. I would prefer to be just helpful. I strive to be helpful. That's about it. Yes, I believe Batman is the best superhero. Or hero. Well, he's superhero because he does have superior detective type stuff. More so than the average human, as well as endurance. And yeah, so I would say he has superpowers, just not in the traditional I can fly, I can shoot lasers from my eyes, I can stop bullets with my face, I can morph into things. But I think he's supposed to be portrayed as having an exceptionally high level of deduction skills. Oh, I want to do that too. At some point in the future, I'm sure Dukasoft will eventually stream again. What he has streamed in the past is drone footage. So he flies a drone out around his neighborhood or other areas, and he plays it for us. He plays it back for us, usually around 20 minutes. And he has music going and really good conversation. Not just music, really good music. That's nice and laid back. Love hanging out on his channel when he does stream. So I don't want to put any pressure on him, but it does sound like he is planning on streaming again. So I just wanted you to know, so you can follow him and see when he does go live. I am the anti-hero in mine. Oh, everybody is the hero in their own story. I am the anti-hero in mine. My hero is an I. Introverted intuition. My savior function. Unless it's TE. I don't know. I don't remember too many MBTI things anymore. Okay, I'm trying to do nothing. Let's see. I got rid of the padding on the hero, which is here. Oh. Article page index. So hero. No, it does have a padding still. Oh, right. Now we're in a media query. So please hot reload / CSS autosync. Just work. Don't make me refresh every time, please. We're gonna take out the padding except on bottom. Cool. Then we're gonna put the padding on the title wrapper. Good. And this really does look like it is centered. So if we give this a border, oh, right. And then we also needed something like box sizing border box. Okay. If we gave this a border, pick solid pink, then we should see it inside of the viewport entirely. That means that this thing is not, the title is not bleeding outside. However, oh, cool. So the hero's article itself, hero header, Are you a header or are you an article? You need to make up your mind. You're a header. The page is the article. The hero header looks like it is also inside of 100 VW. Good. It still looks like it's bleeding up into the top bar a little bit, but that's fine. Maybe if we did padding 0.70. There we go. I like that better. Okay, good. We're keeping that. Did I break it on this view? I sure did. But this is entirely possible that it's because of the footer. So let's not look at that yet. We'll move to it little by little. Deflex says, quick question regarding formatting of CS files and Razor files. Do you diverge from the defaults when using the Visual Studio formatting control KD? I don't remember, because once you set it, you kind of forget it. There are a couple things that I have, and they're never quick questions. I control KD and CSS files, true. Text editor, C#, code style, and formatting, indentation. So if these are not the default settings, then these are the ones that I've overwritten for indentation. And these, if these are not the default settings, then this is what I have for my new lines. And then for spaces, of course, for tabs, I am using spaces, mostly because of the way that I navigate around my code. There aren't very many other developers that I work with or other people that I am intending to share my code with that need to have it formatted so that it appears correctly on their 4-space or 10-space tabs. If I use tabs as 10 spaces, then one tab character takes up the size of what 10 spaces would. I don't really pay attention to that because it's my code, and I like to be able to move the mouse around like this and then select from wherever I need to. And hello, Bardecki. So Bardecki, another fantastic game developer. Check out his stream. Typically works on a game called The Unwanted War, but is currently on the Game Jam, having fun. I was hanging out in his stream also in the past week since the Game Jam started. Well, I mean, I always hang out on his stream. At least it's the size of 4 spaces. So my honest preference is what you see in CSS, except 2-space. I really, really preferred 2-space. And to a lot of people, it's very claustrophobic, so they don't prefer that. And I understand it. You don't need to prefer it at all. You don't even need to like it, because you're not touching my code. But this is an open source project, so I went with 4-space. But I am still sticking with spaces instead of tabs. Oops, too far. Okay. Yeah, absolutely, Bardecki. I still like you even if you do 2 spaces. Like, I used to just have everything on curly brace on the same line, 2-space tabs. But that's because I could do it and get away with it. I like when open source projects have editor config files just to make it uniform. Yeah, me too. Me too. I like that. And I think this one might. Solution folder. No, I didn't, but I could. Hello? Like I said, I could if it wanted to add it. Existing item. Interesting. It doesn't want to add an editor config for me. Doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter all that much. Snobble said, you tab to get the indentation for the first character and then you use spaces for the rest of the line indentation? No, I don't. one tab space? No. I have 4 space tabs. So when I push tab, it enters 4 individual spaces. And regardless of where I am, it jumps to the next tab stop. So if I am somewhere between 4 and 8, it'll stop me at 8. But yeah, again, not really something I want to waste more time on. It's 3 spaces in middle ground. I feel you. Need a new type of array then. Wait, what? We're up here somewhere. Snubble said to Bardaki, I had some idea when people discussed if arrays should start at index 0 or 1. Why not start at 0.5? I felt my idea was too quickly discarded. I mean, it makes sense if you think about memory addressing for arrays to start at index 0 because you're saying the memory address plus 0 is where you'll find this value and then plus 1 is where you'll find the next value. And in my opinion, but that's just people trying to derail on purpose for things that don't even really matter. But if that's what you want to talk about, we'll talk about it. Okay, so we have this thing. I'll let you guys discuss that, C-Films. I like minifiers, the end. That's my statement. Just so I don't ignore you. But couldn't care less. So... no border.
We don't need to print the internet.
No, we don't. We really don't. Finding an acceptable compromise is useful. We will achieve world peace. That's why Lua starts indexes at 1. It doesn't go that low into the stuff. Ah, I didn't know. The default of Visual Studio is to insert spaces, which is a good common ground. True. Again, I know the arguments for using tabs and I agree with them, but one, my code base doesn't grow super duper large. It doesn't get extra heavy if I use space characters instead of 1 tab character. And then when someone else checks out my code and they prefer 8 space tabs, then my code will still have 4 spaces. Yeah, whatever. Doesn't matter. Lua arrays are kind of like dictionaries, I think. Oh, cool. What if indexes start at pi? If you go from the reverse, the last element is at the end -1. Which is interesting because I think it is like that in C# too. Is it? In it? Like if I were to access some array, string, sure. Then we could have some string at. So I don't know if this one is the last or if this is actually the last. I don't know. I'd have to look that up. Oops. I'd also have to destroy some code for fun, because this is fun. Lua arrays are kind of like dictionaries. I think I meant C#. Lua has very little features, so I doubt they have fancy stuff like reverse index. And I don't know. I don't get that deep into it. Bardaki said, the reason why Lua starts the index in a table array at 1 is quite simple. It's descendant from Sol, which was created by people with no formal computer science training, and most people start counting at 1 when they count things. Yeah, true. Yeah, so you're giving the element number, the element, yeah. Aw, thank you, Big Gamey. I mean, there's a shout out for Big Gamey. Thank you, Dukasoft is what I said. Thank you, Dukasoft. You're welcome, Big Gamey. Blame Dukasoft. I mean, give credit to Dukasoft. Still, thank you, Big Gamey. So Big Gamey is currently streaming. If you're more into game dev, he's doing his game jam as well. He's doing a Katamari clone. I don't know the whole title of that game. I haven't, yeah, anyway. So he's doing a clone of the game where you are rolling a ball around and picking up things smaller and smaller than, or as you get larger and larger. And a Bardaki sneeze. Nice. All right, my array.last is the last. Yes, last is the last. Absolutely. Just use link and lambda. Everything will be fine. The song is actually Louie Louie. Very yay. Okay, so in the interest of moving on, we have changed main page hero so that the padding is gone. Let's do the same thing with the footer. We're going to start with box sizing. Can we even get to footer? Is footer even a thing? Footer I put in shared just in case I decide to move it out of where it currently is and keep it on every page. So let's get rid of the padding. Nope. Yes. And do box sizing border. Box. Okay, and then we need to do... Oh, look at that. Oh, we're getting so close. So that fixed the footer's overflow stuff. That's exactly what I wanted. But here in footer, where is your footer content? Where's your padding coming from? The padding must be coming from up here. Interesting. I don't have any left and right pad margins, so that's good. Oh, this is so confusing. Right, it's coming from section because all of the sections get a padding. Okay, so right now what it looks like, the only thing that is causing this thing to overflow is this image. And it's probably the additional padding around the image that I'm using for this larger border that has the gradient on it. But if I change it to border box, there's still something else. What is it? let you. Oh, it's so close. Okay, what was that I just did? I put box sizing border box on image. Which is in main page hero. Box sizing border box. Hello, Napalm and Marcus Voice Coder. Marcus Voice Coder said, if you wanted this project to last even longer, you could start doing accessibility testing with Lighthouse and developer tools. I'll go for as long as you guys want. I did give the option, and we'll probably do more of a poll, but I do have one preference so far. But once we finish with the redesign, applying this redesign of the hero page, of the landing page, we could move to my work product, which means that I'll stream longer and I'll be mostly focused on doing my actual day job during the stream. Or we can move to a different project, or we can continue on this project and redesign the data entry pages. So those are the three options. But Napalm says, better late than never. Been a day and a half fighting issues with event sourcing that ended up being one damn line of code. Always one line. It is always one line of code, isn't it? Yeah. I'll just leave it at that, because that is true. It does happen, or turn out to just be one small change that you need to make for the most complex issues. And then for the easy issues, it's like you have to change 6,000 things. Snabble says to see films when your boss tells you to. Also, oh, when do you decide to split code into multiple files? Mine is mostly intuition. And okay, so main content 360, 360, 360, 360 plus 7. Interesting. Okay, what if it's definitely this border box, and I think somebody mentioned it. Oh, I don't remember when, but somebody did mention border box being an issue in one of the previous streams. And I was like, I have box sizing turned on, but I didn't have box sizing turned on for everything. So what if we deleted all of these box sizing things that I just added? Okay, I think that's all of them. So, oh, nope. Apparently there's more box sizing. Okay. And then in our global styles, we said star. Box sizing. I know how to spell. Border box. Are you missing a semicolon or something? You are. How long has that been missing? How many issues has that caused? Look at that. Oh my gosh. So, Napalm. Case in point. It was one line of code that was causing our overflow issues, and it was the box sizing. Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. So what I'm going to do then is get rid of this padding top for the main hero. Padding top. There we go. Yeah, seriously. Oh no, Deflux has a meeting. I know people that do that a lot. Subtle. The demo has an extension method to load an assembly with models in it. Program in this case. Sure, that works great if your models are in the same assembly. As far as for how you set up event sourcing, or yeah, I don't know anything about the way that you have it set up, of course. So again, trying to stir stuff and just be funny. Deflux says, would you say regarding C-Film's question, if it is matters significantly more for larger teams in order to not step on each other's toes during a PR? Yeah, I mean, definitely that's one of the discussions you have as a team. It's kind of just one of those things that gets talked about a lot. But the common sense thing to do on a team is to discuss and agree on coding styles. Have some kind of document that says this is what you're going to do if you are working on the code base as part of this team. Then follow these formatting rules and naming conventions. These wires are going all over the place. Ugh. Have you ever set a wire down? Just call everything Dave. Absolutely. Okay. Okay, that's plugged in. That is untangled. I have a USB hub on my desk because now that I have the audio, what are these called? MIDI controllers that I acquired from Mojo. I needed more USB ports. And then I recently got a audio controller that is specific for hooking up external audio devices like guitars to the computer, and that now has 2 wires coming out of it. Yay. So many wires. But I will wrangle them eventually, one day. Anyway, we got rid of the horizontal scroll issue, which means that we are officially done with... Oh no. We are not done. We have one more thing to fix, and that is the... whatever this thing is called. This thing is called the View Transaction History section. And we need the preview image wrapper to be taller. Dang, that's not good because I almost need a dummy placeholder image to size the preview image wrapper. Because right now I believe both of them are position absolute. Because there's even a button underneath that... Wait, why isn't the clear fix sizing you? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense at all. Okay, what if I did height 100%? Nothing. Why don't you like height 100%? Something else is overriding it. It's up here. Height 14 characters. Turn height off. Now it's working the way that it's supposed to because of box sizing border box with our clear fix. Okay, let's do that. X-Wizard! Hello, what do you guys think about .NET MAUI? Is it worth spending time on, or is it better to choose something else? I plan on... Right. We still have something else to do after the UI design implementation, which is upgrade this to .NET 8 or .NET 9 if it takes us until November to finish this part. I do have a .NET MAUI project in this solution. And I think it would be really cool to experiment with deploying to all of the platforms in this type of setup. Then I want to create a new .NET 9 MAUI. What is the .NET 9 MAUI template called? They have a special name for this thing. Anyway, it's the combined MAUI. So it's MAUI plus browser plus web, MAUI plus web. So a Blazor MAUI hybrid app plus web, essentially, which is all that this project is. It is the Blazor WebAssembly or Blazor server directly or .NET 8 Blazor app, ties in all the way. So this has all of the Blazor web flavors as well, and it will have the .NET 8 version, as well as the MAUI application with Blazor for the UI. You can see that in app.saml, where I am just using a, not app.saml, main.saml. Where I'm just using a Blazor web view control. And I'm pointing everything, every single one of the web applications, every single one of the desktop applications or cross-platform applications, multi-platform, whatever, to the same UI. And that's essentially what a Blazor Hybrid plus web template is. So I'm excited to explore that. Might get unpopular, but I like WinForms better. So WinForms was really easy to understand, in my opinion. So I agree with you, Dukasoft. And WinForms has Blazor Hybrid as well. That's awesome. I've only done WPF with the Blazor WebView control. I don't think I've tried WinForms with the Blazor WebView control. WinForms that has the drawback that it doesn't work on anything other than Windows. Yeah, and that's fine for some products if that's your intent, if that's your target. For example, the application that I worked on at the previous job was specific to Windows, and as I was getting ready to leave, they decided to, oh, what's the word? They decided to start targeting ARM64 systems. Non-Windows ARM64, I should say. I think it also depends on what platforms you want to support and how integrated with that platform you want to be in app purchases or accessing the storage or other devices on that. And hello, Dilly Millie. Oh, Dilly, what's the Dillio? Sorry. Hope you're doing well today. I have no idea where that came from, but that's where it came. That's what came out. Napalm did respond to XBlizzard saying, "My 2 cents is it's not as robust as Microsoft likes to promote. Getting better each release. I would consider it if you have web skills and want to use Blazor. Otherwise, I'm not sure it will go that route." I would also recommend it to tag onto and not invalidate what Napalm says. I would also recommend using it if you have XAML skills and you do want to deploy to Android, iOS, Mac, Tizen, Windows in one project type. Okay, I need to get rid of whatever is causing the extra space below this, which is a bottom padding. So get rid of the height, get rid of padding bottom. Cool. This is in the view history transactions section, which is which one of you? Let's use main page hero section so we can find view transactions section and your related SCSS. This is get rid of the height. We'll change the padding bottom. Five rems? This makes sense to me though. Offsetting the bottom to be the same offset that I'm putting from the top of this element to the top of the actual picture. So that makes perfect sense. Why are you 70 pixels? Why are you 70? Refresh. Oh, I paused chat. I need to, macOS Maui runs through Catalyst, and let's say the performance is not the same. Okay. It just kind of works though. A friend of mine is suffering. Yeah. I mean, like, it does feel similar to how Blazor was when it was first coming out, where there were a lot of workarounds and things that you had to figure out how to do. But they really did make Blazor, in my opinion, as I've been using it for quite a while, into a very robust project type that is, it meets all of my needs for web application development. Does everything I want it to. Absolutely just don't like XAML or have those skills. Me either. Me either. The thing that is going to be the coolest is the Blazor component library that will use, that will render buttons that look like they're platform specific buttons, even though they are still web technology markup. So that's going to be cool. Dilly Millie says, I gotta say, I feel like ARMS is honestly going to be the future for laptops. I agree with you. Coming up, I bought a Lenovo ARM machine from AT&T. What is AT&T? I think it's AT&T. 2 months ago. After all the updates and fixes they did for a year, and personally I'm loving ARM and Snapdragon, but hate the coding on 13-inch. So when I had jury duty, I was using Jump Desktop to remote into my PC that had the Visual Studio running on it because I was not going to be doing development on the machine that I took with me. And it was like such a small screen. It's like, I don't like going back to that. I used to code on, actually, no. In college, I would try to get the largest screen that I could, which wasn't always a good idea because I was always out of money. OOM, out of mana. But yeah. Ugh. Now I have a 13-inch, whatever this thing is called, Mobile Studio, and another 13-inch Lenovo laptop that I can remote from. What about RISC-V? I don't know what RISC-V is. I have Napalm said above. Yeah, I think it would be hard to work with. No actual experience here. I remember working with Java Swing back in the day, and code-based layout systems were always a bear in my honest opinion. So it's not super duper difficult. You do still get markup that you can use. You don't have to use code. I prefer when I have to work in XAML to create my controls and stuff using code. And when I say code, I mean like code behind. You write C# to create a control, to instantiate the control, add it to the container and all that stuff. But it does have its own markup language that you can write similar to HTML, so you would just have to learn the syntax for that. I haven't, and it does feel a little unwieldy to use for the little bits that I have learned, especially applying style sheets to it. And then having a million attributes that you have to add to every control in order for it to look right. RISC-V is a new kind of CPU that is all the rage. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm not too much into hardware. When usually when I hear about a thing, one, it's something I'm super excited about, like HoloLens and augmented reality and stuff like that. Or two, it's been out for so long that it's highly used, and that's how I learn about it. It shows up somewhere. I'm just happy I can use HTML anywhere. Agreed. Oh, that is the other thing that the Blazor web view, I think, is going to support, is any language. UI markup. Thank you, Tukasoft. Shout out for Irish John Games, who is currently hosting a game jam. He's been having a lot of community type streams this week where he's showing off people's work mostly and working on side projects. He's taking a break from Rise of Piracy. Next year's winner, one line. Man, I told you I had like all of these ideas flood in for what I could have done for this year's Journ Jam, but what a time to not have the skills for one, and two, not have the time to gain the skills needed to do a Journ Jam, because I am at the top of the stream. If you didn't hear it, I pretty much just said that I have work time, stream time, 2 hours on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and time that I spend with my wife outside of work. Oh, thank you so much for the gift sub. 3 months of tier 1 to Tukasoft. Holy cow. That is super duper kind of you. What was I saying? Words. I was trying to use words. So I have those chunks of time, and then on Tuesdays and Thursdays I have 2 hours of time that I choose to use on the things that I want to learn, skills that I want to develop, and right now it's music. So it doesn't really leave too much room for game development. Even though I think I could make the game that I'm thinking about in Blazor with the skills that I have. I just don't want to use those 2 hours on doing that. I want to write music. Learn and write music. I'm almost at a point where I could perform one of the songs on piano. It's very, very simple, but it sounds good. So was there anything else that I was doing? I was fixing this padding down here, which is here, padding bottom. Why is it 7 though? Why is it 7? Or 7D, sorry. Is it because the picture top offset is 5 rems instead of 2? Aren't you supposed to be 2? 2? But yeah, definitely check out Earthbound Games. He streams pretty much every day except Sunday, and at 1 p.m. or 8 p.m. Journ time, which is 1 p.m. my time, which is UTC -6. If you're interested in knowing what time it is now for me, it's 1751 UTC. So at I guess that 1900 UTC. So looks like Journ is UTC +1. Marcus says, I made a quick Hangman Blazor game using Copilot in a couple of hours. Awesome. Awesome. Snubble says, Zulius is talking about the same thing. Risk V is hardly new unless you count decades as new. It's just a different architecture paradigm. It's called Risk 5 because Roman numerals. And it's started sometime around 2010. Parsed. So there you go. Maybe not talking about the same thing. So what is up with this picture top offset not being updated? An image. Oh, where are you defined here? Picture image wrapper. Oh, if you happen to be paying attention, Irish John Games, this is the Visual Studio 2022 version of the multi thingy with Alt Shift that I was telling you yesterday, whenever it was. This is a box select in Visual Studio 2019. So if you push left and right, it will move the entire box. Actually, it'll deselect everything is what it will do. But starting from Visual Studio 2022, if you move left and right, then it'll turn into multi-caret selection. And multi-caret just means every caret keeps track of its own position. And so if you push end, you go to the end of the line for all of the things. Control Alt click on a selection. We'll remove that caret. And the way that you can get to it easily in Visual Studio 2019 is you already do the Alt click, I think, for your box select. But if you select everything except for the last line and Control Alt click on the last line, then you have multi-caret. The end. The things I've learned. Okay, moving on. I made a quick Hangman game. Sounds fun. I made a quick archery game, which who knows if it's working this stream. First of all, let's see if Automated Realms is even listening. Automated Realms. Are you listening? Question man. Survey says yes. Then can you play archery for me? Automated Realms. Suggest an angle and power magnitude between -90 and 90 and magnitude between 0 and 100 to hit the target of the current Archery game. Oh, it didn't even. Yeah, archery game is broken. That would have been way too hard. Buddy. You. Why you broke? Dark mode. Desktop. No? Too much power, I bet. Way too much power. What if? Can I do it manually? I don't know if I can do this manually. Just says joining. Whatever. Nobody cares. Da, 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 da. It's broken. Hello, Gabio. Snubble says, I remember being really excited about Acorn Archimedes and its amazing ARM CPU in 1991. I was so frustrated that x86 dominated the market. Reg says, I care. Well, you're allowed to care. And Marcus said, who turned out the lights? I can't read your lips if you... Oh, wait. No, wrong one. Similar to column selection in Visual Studio. Yeah, so if you hold Alt and Shift, then you'll get the column selection. Box selection. Actually, I don't know if there is a specific way to turn just box selection on other than holding Alt and making a selection. I think it always uses multi-caret starting in Visual Studio 2022, which I'm appreciative of because I've always needed to do box selection and I like using keyboard. So box selection, Alt Shift arrow keys, and then I would have to Control Alt click on the last line to turn it into multi-caret, but then they changed it to where Alt Shift automatically gives multi-caret. Anyway, moving on. I like carrots. Okay, so that definitely updated it to what it was supposed to be, and now we are officially done with the mobile view UI redesign. I still am wondering if I purposefully made the decision to make the background of the header completely opaque or what. Background transparent, top bar. Yeah, I don't think I did. Background color. It's not the top bar that has the background color. Was it? Oh, yeah. Okay, so I think the answer is that it really isn't opaque. It just happens to be on part of the image that is. So if we were to take a look at the body background, then I have both a, is it in Div app? I have a gradient that goes from the top to the bottom that starts at completely opaque black and goes to lighter color, or goes to transparent is what I should say. And then behind that, I have the image. So where exactly did I put the salad? The gradient for the background. Let's fly out. It's none of these. I honestly don't know, but I'm gonna commit this. Oh, is it primary background? No, It's not primary background. Right, and I can also clean up one more thing before I commit, but we're going to commit. Global styles, we don't need this anymore because we have it on star. Compile successful, looks good. I keep looking for git changes down there. Fixed overflow issues in mobile mode. Now, the thing that I think I need to do is have a different media query to distinguish between mobile small versus screen small, right? Does that sound right to anyone? So right now I have at media max width BP small max, and this is going to be mobile in general. But if I did screen and, then that's going to give me a different layout than if I did device, I want to say, and. Yeah. Because I'm thinking that I don't want the application to look like that just because I've shrunken the screen down. But maybe I do. I don't know. I still have this overflow issue in screen and that's most likely because of the scroll bar. Day 260, that is a lot. So consider that 1, I only do this for 2 hours on Mondays and Wednesdays, and 2, I talk with you guys most of the time, but yeah, it is a lot. What's your most favorite language to use, C#? Thought about cheating. I thought about creating an app like this last week. Oh, really? You want to make a financial tracker? Are you going to add advanced functionality, stuff that I don't use? So for example, I don't connect to external financial institutions or anything. The only thing that I do is let you manually track transactions. Thank you, Dukesoft. No, this is a pretty simplistic, well, gosh, I don't know what to call it. It's a simplistic version. Yeah, nothing. That's what I'm trying to get to. So it's a simplistic version of a financial management tracker where the only thing that you're doing is keeping track of your personal accounts that you choose to track. So for example, a savings and a checking account. Then when you make a transaction of some type, like a payment from one of these tracked accounts to some external source, or a deposit from some external source to one of these tracked accounts, or a transfer between 2 of your tracked accounts, then you enter the information manually. There's no receipt scanning, no PDF reading, parsing, whatever. It's all manual entry. And it does not connect to external financial institutions. There are apps out there that already do that. Mint used to be one, but that went away. But most financial institutions already provide a way for you to be able to do that. I initially chose to do this project on stream because I'm already doing this using Microsoft Access, and I'm a .NET developer and have been using the Microsoft Access version of this project for since 2014 or so. And I was like, I think it's finally time for me to change it over to a web app. It's already using SQL as the backend, so all I have to do is put a web UI on top of it, or web application in general on top of it. Access is great. But also the only reason that I decided to stream this project at all was because I used to work in a position where I could stream my day job, and then I moved to a position where I couldn't stream my work, and now I'm back in a position where I could stream my day job, but I wanted to finish this project, so we're going to decide after we're done with the redesign whether we want to move to the day job project, or not projects. Show you essentially what my normal work life is like doing the streams that I used to do, or continuing on with the next part of the redesign, which is the data entry pages, such as in the payments page. Because it used to look like this. Like the entire application looked like this. We finished the core functionality, started doing some redesign because I wanted to gain skills as a designer. That's my weakest area. So we went through, created the design, gave the designs to the UI developer, which again is us as well. And we just finished implementing the responsive mode version, or the mobile view version of the redesign. And so now we are working on the next media stop, which should then fix all of the rest of the media queries. The end. What do you suggest for security and auth? We haven't done that in this app, but for all of the applications that I work on for my job, I just use the authentication, the identity implementation that comes with the project template, which in earlier cases was Duende's identity server, since most of my projects were Blazor WebAssembly, and are now just Microsoft Identity with some magic flavoring in .NET 8 applications. And do you ever use somebody else's username? Could anybody ever use somebody else's username? Yes. I mean, if they grab your credentials, then yes. Or like, it really doesn't matter how you set up your auth. If they can get to your verification device, then they'll be able to impersonate you. So if your app issues a token and says you must enter this token to verify that you are who you say you are, if you send an email that has a link that you click on, then they can intercept the email or get the email in some way. You know, it's normal things that you would consider for that. Identity server with magic what? I don't know the ins and outs of it, but it is essentially a backend for front end implementation, whatever that means. I have some grasp of what it means, but not a full grasp. So we're gonna create, we may as well, since I'm gonna update this application to .NET 8 as soon as we're done with this UI redesign, we're going to create a new application type. And I'll just go ahead and create the solution folder for it at 8. And it's going to be a Blazor. Well, I don't want to create Net 8 folder because it might be Net 9 by the time we get to it. But we'll create a new Blazor web app with individual authentication, and it'll scaffold it for us. And then I'll talk about the identity stuff that I'm aware of that it scaffolds for us, and how to do things like roles and roles. So the roles are the magic stuff. And the backend server, they don't issue tokens, they give you cookies, and somehow those cookies still work because backend for front end, even in a WebAssembly application. Ooh, that was a lot of words to say absolutely nothing. Okay, and this weirdness that you see here is the what am I going to call it? The faked landing page. So essentially what I need to do next is, once I'm done with all of this redesign stuff, is to grab a snapshot of what the landing page actually looks like when it's fully rendered, and then just paste that into my index.html. Wherever my index.html is. Here. all this stuff. And actually I can do it now just to show you what I mean. Yes. Oh, right. And then there's that. H, delete all those. Format, save. There. So now instead of it looking like it's loading something, it just looks like the page is there and stable, but it's not. Not until, oh gosh, but then I lose all of the CSS for my isolated components too. That'll be fun to figure out. And what happened to my alternating background? Oh, that's just being weird now. Anyway, point is, mobile view done-ish. We would definitely need to figure out what to do when it's in landscape mode. It should just look fine when we get the medium width to work. But I would definitely still want a hamburger menu. Bleh. Okay, Dilly Millie says, so would you use this project yourself? Absolutely, it's the whole reason that I'm doing it. Like I said, I have the Access database that I've been using forever, and I would prefer to use this instead. So that on any of my computers, instead of using a shared .accdb file or an accdb file that connects to SQL Server, I have a URL that I could just navigate to on any of the computers in our house or on my phone or whatever, and be able to enter a receipt. What to use for keeping the website up? I'm not using anything for this website. For my work products, I'm using AWS. And then we like backend dev. I'm doing a lot of backends. Well, not really backend stuff. It's very functionality, not functional, but functionality type of software development right now for my job. The tool that I'm working on is probably one that you've made yourself, but they choose an XLSX file or XLS file or CSV or TSV or whatever delimited file and drag it into the app. It reads the file, turns it into a data set essentially of however many sheets there are. Each data set has a data table in it, and then it outputs, here are the columns that were in this sheet. Here's the values that were in those columns. We need to be able to map those to known values or to known columns, and yeah, even known values in the database. Because the type of place that I work at, they do soil and water sampling, and they had one lab that they would send those. Yes, I keep saying data again. I've went back to it. The type of whatever the thing. Oh, the place that I work at. Oh, they used to only send the soil and water samples to one lab, and that one lab did all the testing and gave us back the results in a specific format. And that got, there's an automation process to move that directly into the database. There, I said data. Through another application called RTrack. But now they're using other labs, and they want to be able to use any lab. That lab can provide their data response in whatever way they want, with whatever columns they want. And then they wanted to have an application that will run the same sanity checks as RTrack, but on this data, which means that they also need to be able to transform the data that got sent to them into the data that's supposed to go into the database. So that's what I'm working on right now for work, and it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. So 2 jokes for the price of 1. We got a dad joke from Dukasoft, one from the other bot that I can't say its name because it makes weird stuff happen to this device over here. Where do young cows eat lunch? In the cafeteria. And the real joke, the one that Dukasoft bot gives us, is I wear a stethoscope so that in a medical emergency I can teach people a valuable lesson about assumptions. Marcus says, I'm not a doctor, whatever gave you that idea. For my current job, says Marcus, I'm using a screen reader to test a website, also by voice. Nice. Develop and Zero said, what SQLDB cloud do you recommend? I don't want to recommend any technologies because I don't think that I've architected even ours very well. I was kind of in a rush to move us from on-premise servers. So we had a one big server that had the, what is the name of the thing? vSphere on it. And there were a whole bunch of virtual machines. Oh, I lost my chat connection. There were a whole bunch of virtual machines that were on them that were individual servers themselves, and they all had their roles and responsibilities. And when I got to this job, one of the things that I needed to do was get them off of on-premise servers and into the cloud. And so I was like, I'm most comfortable and familiar with AWS at that point in time. I'm most familiar and comfortable with using EC2 instances because they're full Windows servers that I could log into and manage that way. I'm not by any stretch of the imagination a systems admin, or I actually don't really like doing that type of work. So let's go with the easiest thing that I know. And they're like, okay, well, let's compare prices for cloud solutions. And they went to Microsoft, IBM, and AWS and found that AWS really was the best value for what they were wanting to do. We set up the servers and made one a test server and another one a production server. But it's like one is test IIS and production database. The other one is production IIS and test database. And so the database and actual web application are on two different servers. One of them is a file share that does a lot more than a file share. It has the ArcGIS server on it, although I think I moved that somewhere else. I don't know what it looks like anymore. It's been a long time since I set up. So point is, all that I could say is if you are using AWS and you are just concerned about having a database system, they have an RDS service that you can limit, you can put certificates on, and yeah, it'll do everything for you. Unmanaged kind of thing. Or managed. Whatever the term is, that means that they take care of all the things for you and you just specify some rules. Isn't there a big price difference between using a virtual machine and software as a service? Yes, and I was trying to compare that. So we have 7 or 8 web applications. And I was like, what would happen if instead of running a full server for the IIS stuff, we used Elastic Beanstalk, and I deployed to those. And I need to actually do the comparison of the price of running those with spool down. You know, if the application is not used for 30 minutes or an hour, then go down to 0 instances. Otherwise, go ahead and spin up 1 instance, because we wouldn't ever need more than 1 instance of the application at a time. But then I would also need to figure out, how do we do our file share stuff? Because I don't know how to use S3. And then connect everything to RDS. So now we have an RDS that has all of our databases. Then we have 7 or 8 Elastic Beanstalks plus the test site versions of them, so double it, I guess. And then what else was needed? The ArcGIS server. I don't know how to run that without a Windows machine. DT search, which is the thing that does our indexing for us for all of our large documents that we scan into a one of the applications. So I need a solution for that. So point is, I need to find solutions for all of these other applications that I only know how to set up on a Windows server. And that would take too much time at the moment that I don't have. Yeah. But yes, I'm assuming that there would be a way for me to get cost savings out of just having RDS, which I would need 2 RDS instances, one for test, one for production. I would need 2 times the number of web applications, one for test, one for production, 2 times the number of ArcGIS servers, or maybe I do only need one ArcGIS server and have it split up into test, and I don't know. It's just too many variables, and I don't know what the answer is. But those are the things that we could go over if I do stream my day job after all this is done. So Thindle came in while I was giving my spiel and said, "Yar, wait, this isn't the pirate. Hi friends," but you can still say yar. Absolutely. And Thindle, if you have not followed him yet, definitely follow him. He's a .NET developer working on similar technologies as me. He does go to older technologies like web forms, but he he does some really fun and cool stuff on his stream. It's usually on Tuesdays that he streams. And yeah, what in the actual not self-explaining service names is a beanstalk? So Elastic Beanstalk is essentially everything that you need to host and serve a web application, if I'm not mistaken. That's what I use it for, at least. And it's from AWS. Think of it like an app service for Azure. Or think of it like Azure's app service, but for AWS. And so you can have it have access to other resources like databases or S3 buckets. And you can give it its own certificate that you can get for free through AWS. Yeah, all that stuff. And Marcus said, yes, virtual machine is definitely the quickest way to get on the cloud. Yeah, because it was a straight port over, essentially. I took our vSphere machines, virtual machines, and found a way to combine a couple of them so that we aren't creating too many EC2 instances, and then creating the EC2 instances and lifting and shifting, essentially. Thindle said, Marcus also had a bad way. But yes, fast and easy. Oh, also a bad way. It's not necessarily bad. It could be the most beneficial thing that you could do for your current situation. It's unaligned. It's just whether or not it makes sense to do for your current situation. Still starting to sound 2 times as expensive. Does sound 2 times as expensive with the number of resources. But again, we're not paying for full Windows licenses in that case if we're just using Elastic Beanstalks with 14 instances, 14 web applications. I'm already paying for Route 53. I'm already paying for a load balancer that does the mapping from test dash, whatever the app is, to the appropriate endpoint, to the appropriate server. Versus the non-test dash version of the application. Lift and shift. That makes sense, I guess. I have no idea. I'm back to more web forms as soon as I've got the basics in there. Awesome. Not sure how it makes sense, but somewhere it probably does. Lift and shift, Apple Computer plus virtual machine equals basic best security you can find. And develop and 0 says, I'm using Azure for the whole project, but I'm going to use AWS RDS for the DB. Yeah, which as long as you just give it permissions to the right thing, absolutely can. Whoa, I caught up. And my alarm's about to go off to remind me that there are only 3 minutes left in the stream. Okay, we did finish with the mobile view version of the application. Fantastic. So our next thing to do is to fix, and I'll need to get the actual breakpoint, but I'm going to have the screen set at our next breakpoint, which is between 480.1 and 930. So we're going to start at, wow, 480 is still pretty tiny. Okay, so I need to figure out what this is going to look like based off of the designs. It looks like there's still supposed to be a full title bar here. Maybe just a smaller font size, sorry, navigation bar. Maybe just a smaller font size, but I don't think that all of the content in the title bar is going to fit at this size. So I'm thinking that all the way up until our next breakpoint, which was 930. 930 even doesn't seem like the right breakpoint for that. We have a hamburger menu. Or we add another breakpoint for, yeah, that's stupid, for 850, 858. There's the alarm. A friend of mine suggested that Net9 should rename the static GC class to Raccoon because Trash Panda versus Garbage Collector. I can agree with your friend. Good idea, friend. So yeah, what we're gonna do is on Wednesday, we are going to do this next breakpoint, and hopefully that breakpoint, man, I really thought that it would be good after we were done with mobile because we had it looking decent on the large display, but not super decent anymore because we got rid of the padding on the hero section, and these are no longer centered. Or are they? And this, the footer is definitely not right at this size. So we'll have to fix that as well. Yeah, so we're going to pick that up on Wednesday. They're centered on something. Well, it looks like the container is centered, but all of the content is left aligned, which it's supposed to be. But the content itself is supposed to be centered. And then the actual, like, the content container is supposed to be centered, but the content is supposed to be left aligned or something. I don't know. I don't remember. And then the cards still need to be vertical cards at this size until somewhere around here. Yeah, so we do need another breakpoint too. I think I'm going to add a breakpoint. But yeah, we'll do that on Wednesday. We'll do some more stuff. But for now, that is the end of my stream. So I'm going to go here and read the rest of the chat. Random statements are quite random. I do like random statements, not going to lie. I love random. So definitely okay. I may not always respond to them, but I do love random. They are centered on something. If you stand just right, they might be centered between some buildings. Potentially. What happens if you justify your text? It'll be fine. We will find out on Wednesday. But yeah, you take care as well, Thindo, and thank you all so very much for being here, for hanging out with me, for letting me hang out with you. I hope you enjoyed your time while you were here. If not, I'll do better or something. So here's someone that we saw come in earlier that I don't think I've really ever rated. Oh no, I've definitely rated him. But I will be, if you're interested, I will be lurking on Bit Gamey, who I have been lurking on since he started. Candy Dev, who we're gonna go raid. Dragon Spirit Games. Irish John when he starts streaming in about 30 minutes. And who is my number 4 for now? My number 4 for now will be, like, I really like lurking on Manadono's stream when they're doing actual dev, but most of the time they're just playing games, and it's like I want to see actual dev. So I'm gonna do Ravier as well, again until Irish John starts streaming. And one of those 4 are going to get taken up by Irish John. But for now, let me turn up Kenny so that I can hear him when he greets us. If you guys, thank you, Kenny. If you guys are not, if you guys are not into game dev, you do not have to follow me there. Definitely feel free to pick your favorite streamer. But that's where I'm going. I mostly watch game devs, apparently. Like, there aren't as many app devs out there that I like to watch, I should say. I guess, what are you working on, Nurkmind? I don't know what Nurkmind does. Jern Jam, so game dev most likely. Shano is streaming, who's also a game developer. I need to follow these guys. Okay, but yeah, that's it for me for now. I always post my VODs to YouTube at some point after the stream, so feel free to check those out if you're interested in seeing the early parts of this application. They're in a playlist called S01 or P01. And thank you so much for the follow. I stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Fridays are special days. I have community days, and feel free to join our Discord if you like it. Okay, ciao.